Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk,
And I'm your host, TJ Cornwell.
and tonight we have kind of a grab bag superhero Marvel showdown, superhero Super Bowl. Talking about a couple different bowls, maybe a bowl cut, one or two at least. TJ's got some thoughts on that we will be getting into. And then kind of our main topic is we're going to take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes of Captain America Brave New World, which obviously, as you guys know, at this point, the review embargo dropped last night. So now we have some indication of where people are leaning, where the Rotten Tomatoes score is, but maybe, always important to look deeper in the Rotten Tomatoes score on a movie like this. Without further ado, let's just jump right into this, TJ. I want to get your thoughts first on this that just dropped this afternoon, about 6 hours ago. And this is coming from Nelly Andriva. And that is, let me actually just make sure that I have this set up because I did not have it set up. Isn't that incredible? That is that John Lithgow nears deal to play Dumbledore in the upcoming Max Harry Potter series. Now, I'm going to give just briefly my thoughts on where my head's at with this, because I know it's been a long time since we kind of talked about this last. I basically resigned myself to this series is going to happen, and I'm just going to try to
it's happening. Yeah,
enjoy it. I'm just going to try not enjoy it. I'm just going to try to watch it and just like resign myself to it, basically. So that is all I will say on that. Although I understand the people who are not going to watch it, I understand everything like that. For me, I just love these characters and this world too strongly and too greatly for everything else that's been going on. A lot of casting stuff going on, but just a couple days ago we had rumored that Phoebe Waller-Bridge will be playing Aunt Petunia. After a bit of a holiday slowdown, I would say we got a lot of news in December. We got some Snape, or a pretty strong indication that he will be Snape, that actor, and then a couple of seemingly false Dumbledores in Mark Rylance and Mark Strong. But now it seems after the holiday break, we are back on full steam with these Harry Potter rumors. So I'm just going to throw it to you, John Lithgow, and then also to the side, Phoebe Waller-Bridge potentially as Aunt Petunia. What are your thoughts overall on these two castings, whichever one you want to go to first, and how you are feeling about this series as a whole?
Yeah, it's been a while, I feel like, since we've heard anything about it. I would say the Lithgow one was surprising, just considering he's not English. I just assumed that every actor cast in the show would be not American. So interesting to see. I'm assuming he's gonna put on an accent, right? Do you think that's a fair guess? So we'll see how that works. I would consider myself a John Lithgow fan. I don't think I haven't seen him in a ton. Obviously, I saw him in Conclave, which he was really good in. I don't even remember him in Killers of the Flower Moon, if I'm being honest.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I don't think I've seen that. Bombshell. He was good as Roger Ailes.
Oh my God, yeah, he was great in that.
I know you're a Daddy's Home fan, so he's been in that.
Of course.
And I'm trying to think of something else that I can think of.
Did you see The Crown, the earlier seasons?
Yeah, so we watched seasons 1 through, I think, just 1 and 2 for the most part. Was he in those ones?
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah, he was with Churchill, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, really good actor. I'm just kind of surprised, honestly, that he's not. Oh yeah, he was British in The Crown. Fair enough. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I will say this. I mean, I haven't even spoken on it yet, but you hit it right on the head, obviously, which is he's not British. I mean, so this would be the first actor cast in this show to be not British, and the first really main Harry Potter character overall to not be British in any of them, because obviously with the original series or the original films, everyone was, accent appropriate. But yeah, I don't think the conversation is, can he do a British accent? It's just, I'm very shocked that they're going with an American.
Right.
I'm just very shocked.
I always assumed like this movie, and maybe I'm forgetting of an American actor in the movies that played was in one of the movies, but I just feel like these are just synonymous with British actors that it never occurred to me that there would be an American in one of these.
Yeah.
Um,
Pretty sure there was no American actors at all in the original films.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I didn't know that, so that was news to me right there that you said that. It's kind of surprising because I feel like am I wrong? Aunt Petunia is kind of a smaller role. I feel like she's not as big, so maybe they're expanding her role a little bit in the show. I would think. I feel like if you're going to get Phoebe Waller-Bridge, you're going to want her to be on screen for more than I don't know, like an episode or two, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like too, though, it's important to think about, and that's what I want to bring up about John Lithgow, is the longevity of these roles. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge may only be in the first 2 episodes of season 1, but she's going to be in every single season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like Aunt Petunia is going to be a recurring character that I think, and obviously we should mention the incredible Fiona Shaw, who played her in the original 7 movies, but never really got the chance to play the depth I think that's available in that character in those books and in the source material. That I think maybe you're exactly right. I think maybe they will pump that back into Petunia and make her a little bit more of a sympathetic figure. I mean, as is, they've been very vocal, and I keep forgetting that Mark Mylod, who did The Menu and did a ton of Succession and stuff, is going to be the series director on this. He came out and said that, you know, they're going very book accurate with the ages, because obviously, very famously, a lot of the characters in the movies were decades older than they were in the book. Obviously, like main example, Alan Rickman was like 55 playing Snape, who's supposed to be like 30 or like 35.
Right.
So I think that'll buy some sympathy too, but also again, with the longevity of these characters, Richard Harris was 79 when he became Dumbledore. Michael Gambon was 65 when he became Dumbledore. John Lithgow is 79 right now, and we have a guaranteed order of 10 years of this character. Is he going to be able to do the Half-Blood Prince when he's 88 years old?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And do the kind of huge, sweeping Dumbledore action. I feel like, if anything, let history be the teacher on this, that like you need somebody who's at least going to make it through. And I'm not saying that John Lithgow is going to drop dead at 90. I just mean Dumbledore becomes a more and more physical presence in the movies as they go along. It's not like it's the opposite. It's not like Dumbledore's big movie is the first one. Dumbledore's biggest movie is the second to last one. You know what I mean? So it's like, that concerns me on the John Lithgow front, as well as the American thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about his age? Do you think it'll affect it, or do you think I'm 88 years old, he'll be good to fall off a tower?
No, no, I mean, I think that's a fair concern. I think it would just depend on how long it just takes to make these. Again, I wasn't when the movies were coming out, I wasn't really big on, I wasn't waiting in line or anything for them, or like waiting intently for the next one. So I don't really remember how long the gap was between them usually. I'd imagine they would like to do these seasons a little, quicker, I guess. I mean, but I'm just thinking of how big like the show will probably be. It's probably gonna, probably be like maybe 2 years, I feel like, between seasons. I mean, how long is it between like Game of Thrones or House of Dragon? Like those are usually what, like a year and a half probably between. I feel like was House of Dragon early 2024, right?
Yeah, it was. House of the Dragon was 2 years.
Yeah.
And then the last season of Game of Thrones was like 2 years and 4 months. So it's like, it's been a lot. But also, I want to say in an interview that Mark Mylod said that they were filming at least, and this is really just me trying to remember someone else quoting him. I believe he said they were filming 1 and 2 back to back. I think he said they're filming at least 1 and 2 back to back. I frankly don't really see how you don't do. I mean, like, I don't understand. I think the smartest way to do this, and that would kind of dissuade my concerns about his age, is maybe this is 10 years of releasing a show, but maybe this is only 6 years of filming a show. You know what I mean? Maybe they can theoretically film 20 episodes or 16 episodes a year and then spend all the rest of the time on post and editing. You know what I mean? I say 20 or 16 because I don't know if it's going to be 10 episode seasons. Is it going to be an 8 episode season? We don't really know that yet. So, but I think that's possible. And then, you know, you could have Lithgow, maybe you're filming, you know, Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince back to back in like 2031 as opposed to 2035, you know. Danielle, I think they should have done a Marauder show first. Well, I think that, yes, absolutely. I don't know why I'm saying this. I keep forgetting that we can pull these guys up on the screen now. I think they should have done a Marauder show first. Yes, absolutely agree with that. I think they should have done several different things first, but I understand that, you know, a cursed child thing or anything like that is just not in the cards with where JK and Daniel, Emma, and Rupert are right now.
And I guess it's also depending, real quick, I'm sorry, on the age of the kids as well. I would say, like, how old do you want them to be, like, middle point of the whole story? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be tough because there is something in when your hero is 24 looking,
right,
versus when your hero is, I'm not going to pick on this kid. I haven't watched the rest of the show, but like a Walker Scobell, right? You know what I mean? It's like that Walker Scobell to me is a child, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like Daniel Radcliffe by that last movie, is like, you know, he's like in his mid-20s, you know what I mean? And he looks it, and I don't have any problem with that. I don't have any problem with, you know, being older and then playing a younger character. But in this circumstance, I'm actually kind of rooting for it in that, like, I feel like it's hard for me to picture a physically lanky, smaller teenager playing some of the stuff that Harry as a character has to play, particularly in Deathly Hallows. I think the fact that all three of those actors had matured into fully grown adults, including Rupert and Emma, by the end of that, to play some of the stuff in Deathly Hallows Part 1, which would probably just be one season in the show, unless they decide to split it again. But I just think that, like, how much Daniel Radcliffe matured in those last years, I feel like that is where the true gold was struck in that character, is just how well he grew with the role. And I just worry that maybe you pick a fantastic 12-year-old that doesn't turn into a super mature, super responsible, that I believe, and I believe in this character by the time that this 12-year-old kid is a 20-year-old actor. So yeah, I just think casting across board is going to be really hard for this show. But again, I am past the why are they even doing it. I have resigned myself to the fact that they are doing it, and I just guess we will continue to monitor the situation as it builds, I guess. Anything left on the HP stuff? Any dream casting that any character that you're hoping will be maybe the next rumor? That's a good question. I'm thinking maybe like Quirrell. Who's going to be our new Quirrell for?
What about? I'm just thinking. Oh my god.
Also, how is the season's going to be named? Are the episodes going to be Philosopher's Stone :
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's how you would have to do it, because the show's just going to be called Harry Potter.
Oh my god, I had a thought in my head of a person to be cast, but now their name's escaping me.
Oh, maybe Malfoy?
No, it was like an actor to play just whatever, not like,
I see, like an actor casting. More so than character. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll get all the kids at once. I feel like we'll get the 4 main kids at once. So I think we'll get Harry, Ron, Hermione, maybe, and Draco. I think we'll get all 4 of those announced at the same time. Yeah, that's my take on that. All right. Well, next up, TJ. We got to talk about this. What's going on with your guy Gardner?
Oh, Okay, this okay, so just bringing this up. And this is just something, and again, I don't know if this was I don't know if this was broadcasted as like a TV spot.
Did we lose TJ?
No, I'm right here. Oh my god.
Oh, let's see. One sec.
Got me?
Boom. Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
I don't know. You just did a and then you just paused. On my end, at least. I don't know. Let me know.
Okay. So this ad, I don't know. I can't nail down if it actually aired during the Super Bowl. If it did, I missed it. Maybe I was in the bathroom. So it's literally just this quick, like
It's
5-10
just
second
this?
TV spot. That's all it is. Of Nathan Fillion dressed up as Guy Gardner, and the caption's like, "This is the only bowl I need," and it's referring to his bowl cut instead of the Super Bowl or the Puppy Bowl that was also going on, I believe, a little bit before the Super Bowl. Everybody's saying I never left, so it must have been on you.
Okay.
And I need to know is that just how it aired? Because if it is, maybe I think too less of people. I'm thinking less of people, but if I had no idea what was going on and I just knew like, oh, I know a Superman movie's coming out, I would be like, what the fuck is that? Is that just me?
No, I think I understand what you're saying. I know that James Gunn did like a Puppy Bowl like introduction thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he like specifically introduced this clip or what. But yeah, I just think out of context, it's very odd, very all over the place. I think I don't know. I think I agree with somebody said for James Gunn, and obviously I like James Gunn a lot. For somebody who's so vocal about correcting things and saying, "Oh, that's not true. Oh, this is true. Oh, this is how we did that. No, we didn't do it that way." For a guy who like that seems to be like a quarter of what he likes to do in his job, it feels a little like you could have been a little more forthcoming with like seeing all of the rumors out there about what's coming out, to be like, hey, we are doing something for the Super Bowl with Superman, but it's not going to be a trailer. I feel like for somebody who's so vocal on in the fan base and online and stuff, I just feel like he really could have kind of set the record straight and not and kind of squashed some expectations getting super high. So for me, that's all it comes down to for me. I think the Guy Gardner thing's just like stupid, but it's like it's just like fun.
But I'm gathering it came after his like little spot that he was talking about for the Puppy Bowl, because I was just like, again, when I first saw this, and I had no thought about the Puppy Bowl, and I thought this was a thing that aired during the Super Bowl, and I was very confused. But my first thought when I saw it, I was like, if I know nothing about DC, and I know Superman's movie's coming out, but other than that, I don't really know anything, and I saw this, I'd be like, what is going on? I'd just be like, what was that? And I immediately thought to like, just any advertising in general and some good stuff that we've seen previously. Like, for example, Smile, when there was people like the games and stuff, they were standing with that creepy smile. At least they were wearing a shirt that said Smile.
Yeah.
Whereas this promo, I was like, what is going on? This is just some weird character with his hair that looks weird, and it's just supposed to be funny.
Well, particularly with like the Animal Planet viewership too. Like it's not like that's what aired on Fox, where it's like, somebody's kid can be like, oh, it's a Green Lantern.
I think it's just one of those things where it's like I look at that, I'm go, okay, we're probably trying to, we got the diehard fans, we got people. A lot of people are going to come see this movie, but if we're trying to get people that are like, Superman movie, to come see it, I feel like this isn't probably the best way.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
No, I agree. I do think overall, whether it's the false expectation or whether it's like the goofy Guy Gardner thing, really just on its face, I think all you should say about it is, I think the Puppy Bowl thing was just more about James Gunn's love of like rescue dogs and like adoption and everything like that. And I just think that maybe DC Studios could have done a better job of explaining that that's what it's going to be. It's going to be more of a PSA about, dog ownership and stuff than really any promotional stuff for Superman. I think if they kind of set that record straight, people wouldn't be looking at this Guy Gardner thing as like a crucial step on the road of promotion for this movie. They would maybe just look at it as like, oh, did you see like the weird thing they put on like the Puppy Bowl? Right. But I get it. All right. Let's hit these trailers real quick, because if you can believe it, we only took 1 week off, but it really feels like there was a lot that came out, and a lot that has happened and did happen since then. And TJ, I just want to go for this first real quick. I believe at this point we've both seen both of these trailers, but I just want to go through this Fantastic Four trailer with you and see what we think, see what we want to talk about, see if anybody in the chat has anything to say about this movie, and what it might hold in store. So let's jump right in here in the Fantastic Four First Steps official teaser trailer.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7 on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Herbie, how's that sauce
Love how
coming?
it changes.
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
Unpopular. Oh, we got unpopular opinion.
Okay.
He looks maybe not. Okay. He looks great.
Is this guy
Don't
good
know
or
how
what?
anybody thought different.
I want to add a couple cloves of garlic.
Where's Johnny in
Not because
this
it's
scene?
not
That's
delicious.
what I
I
want
just
to
want
know.
to add a little bit of zip. Okay.
Maybe Johnny dies in the first 5 minutes.
T-5. Before we went up the first time,
The first time.
couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock.
The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Ben has always been.
I like that Human Torch look.
Johnny is Johnny.
Hi.
And I am right here.
Now, something I didn't catch here is his clothes aren't burning off,
We'll face it together.
which is interesting. Little Fantastic Car, and then obviously the big guy himself. Boom.
As a family.
All right.
Feels like just yesterday that they were cast.
They were cast.
That's just me. Yeah.
I mean, it's not that far off. You're not that far off at all. All right. Let's talk about. Well, first of all, where do you want to jump to? What immediately when you watch this for the first time jumped out at you?
The look of the thing. I just like to go to the look of the thing first.
Right
I just
here.
thought it looked really good. I didn't really get anybody that was saying like, "Oh, it looks terrible. I think the Tim Story one looks bad." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
I looked back at the Tim Story thing, and I'm like, guys, The Rock has like no definition. It's just flat. Like it literally just looks like
this literally is the thing.
Yeah. And
he's got a turtleneck.
Obviously, I shouldn't say everybody was hating on it because obviously a lot of people loved it and were like, "This is the most comic accurate thing you could probably get." And that was something that jumped out to me that I was like, I thought that looked amazing. Interesting to see, don't really get the full,
really
we get the
look good right there.
Yeah, the shadow of Galactus I thought was cool. And
yeah, we get this one right here.
Yeah.
And then obviously the big one right there.
And then John Malkovich, which I don't really know much about his character. That he's like a wizard, right, or something like that.
Or the Red Ghost, who's basically like an absolute golden age like villain. Like this guy's like me and my telepathic monkeys, like that. Like he was known as the Red Ghost and his talking apes, I think, or in his trained apes or something. So he is like a very true blue, like 60s, like was on the 60s Fantastic Four cartoon type of villain. And it seems like we're getting a lot of that because
the Red Ghost
obviously
and his super apes.
Yeah, and his super apes. There you go. Not to be super ape, not to be confused with the movie Super 8.
Yeah.
But you know, according to rumors, obviously we see him here. It looks very much like the character. But also we're getting a lot of rumors that, you know, you could have Paul Walter Hauser as Mole Man in this movie. That obviously we know that there will be a Silver Surfer in this movie. Let's see. Michelle in the chat says, I love the 60s look. It reminds me of watching the animated show when I was a kid. Yep, like I said, seems like they are going not just with the designs of the whole universe, but with the actual characters they're using, going with that more, you know, 60s cartoon, 60s comics kind of vibe. Now I want to get your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on Pregnancy Walk? You hear about this? Everybody's
No, I did
convinced.
not.
Well, you know that like everybody's convinced that like, oh, Franklin Richards is like going to be in this movie, right? That they're
Okay.
going to have their kids. That's going to be the big distinguishing factor in this version versus all the other ones, is that they will have their children in this movie, and then the children will become, you know, part of the story and everything like that. People are convinced that just by the way that Vanessa Kirby is walking, that she is pregnant in this clip. And I did not know this until literally today. They are literally just talking about, look at the way that she walks right here.
Because she's like kind of
Yeah,
stumbling,
she's
not stumble.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Off balance, I guess.
She's kind of like making way for herself a
Yeah.
little bit in the way that she's carrying herself. Now, I don't think, I mean, and then there you can see right there from the side. Obviously, she's not visibly pregnant. I also think it could just be, you know, if this is for TV, you know, back straight, shoulders back. That's kind of like, isn't that just what they used to tell women who were going to be on TV in the 60s? Like, you're going to do great out there. You like, you know, back straight, shoulders back. And I feel like that's just same way that Pedro is changing his voice and being very like, we're all here at 7 o'clock on the dot, you know, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really, I mean, she very well could be pregnant in this, but I don't think just taking that off of the
obviously
walk
I'm thinking first steps, you know, we're going to space, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
But also first steps as in like a new child, new human.
Yeah. And Matt Shackman did say, he said, well, what's so wonderful about the name First Steps is that it just has so many meanings in our movie. So he went as far to say all of that. Yeah, again, I also just want to point out here, granted they're actively cooking, but when they're walking through the apartment with that guy, it's not messy like this is. This looks like people live there. Whereas like this looks, you know, it's the exact same place. Look, well, look at that. And then boom. Like, it's like sterilized in the other one. So I think it's just more to do with maybe they're going to be on TV. Now the one thing that I do want to talk about, because I don't want to spend forever on this trailer because we have another one to get to. Feel free for you to bring up anything that you want. But the one thing that I want to hit on is a lot of people have been going. Danielle says a lot of people think that they edited out the pregnant. Also very possible, 100%.
I'll just say real quick, I just hope that everybody talking about all this stuff, you know, we got Galactus, we got the red pirate guy, John Malkovich, we got
Red Ghost,
maybe Red Ghost. Sorry, yes, thank you. And then maybe her being pregnant. I feel like I hope this movie doesn't bite off more than it could chew, because this is supposed to, you know, I feel like this is the obviously Captain America comes out this week, and you know we'll get that out of the way. And it's been, you know, here and there iffy reviews. We'll talk about it a little bit. So I feel like this is like the new, like, okay, we're back. You know, this movie is gonna be our revitalization of the MCU. So I really hope that they land it and they don't stuff it with too much stuff, too many things.
Yeah, I agree with that. But what I was gonna say was a lot of people are saying, oh, they don't have because you see all the other powers in this trailer and they all look fantastic. You have Sue there kind of doing a thing, a very specific thing with her powers that we haven't seen before, with this kind of, you know, refracted bending light kind of vibe. Obviously you see the thing all over the trailer. And then Johnny obviously is very easy to show. I think for a long time, the Reed Richards abilities, they're like, oh, they just look goofy. It's hard to do them in live action, everything like that. They changed Ms. Marvel's powers to the hard light energy stuff. Yes, because to tie it in with Captain Marvel, but also because reportedly, and I heard this. That's not me saying that. That's people online saying that. That they don't think that the stretching powers look good in live action.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. I think if they wanted to get one shot good with his stretching powers, they would have. They could have just had it be that he's reaching across to pick up a piece of chalk. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like it has to be this crazy complex thing. So I don't think that the reason it's not in the trailer is, they haven't even decided on the look of his powers. I don't buy that at all. What I will say is, and I kind of messaged you a little bit about this the day that the trailer came out, I really hope that this read and the real difference with this read versus other ones is the guilt factor. I am like praying that the reason we don't see his powers is because he does not use them, because he's like, why do I have this power that I can hide, or this power that's kind of optional to me, when my best friend in the whole world, Ben, is a terrifying, ruined rock monster, and this has ruined his entire life because of a mistake that I made. I think it's way more interesting, and obviously they do show his other power, which is his insane intellect and everything. But I think the not showing the stretching is a lot deeper than I think people are giving it credit for. I think it's going to be a thing that is a part of the movie that maybe he even keeps from the team, that he got powers. And I think a lot of this movie is going to be Reed burying his head in his work to try and fix everything, which, could potentially unleash Galactus, could potentially, cause more issues, something like going into, Ben's regret of how he looks and everything like that. But I think a lot of that is going to deal with, how bad and how personal Reed feels that he is responsible for it. So that's kind of the big thing on the trailer that I wanted to talk about, that I'm seeing a lot of people just kind of dismiss, of like, oh yeah, probably because the CGI is just so bad. And I'm like, I don't think it's the CGI. I think if they wanted to put one shot in there, they probably
looked good. Like, well, I mean, obviously we don't know about the stretching, but I thought, other than that, I thought it looked good.
Yeah, I thought literally everything in this trailer looked good.
Yeah,
I will say that this trailer, to me, overall, I think all the trailers for July have kind of disappointed me in the sense of, I feel like July had the opportunity to be just this insane lineup, and it still does. But I loved the Superman trailer, but it's not like a, and I don't mean to cross this bridge or burn this bridge, but it's not like a Man of Steel first trailer. You know what I mean? Where that trailer was like, oh my God, like it was, you will believe a man can fly. The Superman trailer for this one was more like, you will believe that a DC can universe. You know what I mean? Like they were like, man, we're going to DC this universe so good, you guys aren't even going to believe it. And then I feel like the Jurassic trailer, I don't even want to, I mean, we're not even going to really talk in depth about that, but yeah, it was not great. And then I think this one was a fantastic trailer, no pun intended. But it was not as good to me as some other trailers for stuff coming out this year. And I think there's room to grow. I think that the movie we're going to talk about next, I thought its first trailer was pretty fantastic, and just dropped an even better trailer. So I think with a second trailer with a little bit more of an eye on what's going on in this movie, I think it can really change things. But I'm excited. I'm excited about this movie, and that's what the goal of the trailer is to get you excited, get the audience excited, and I am definitely excited for Fantastic Four for sure. All right, let's move on here to discuss this trailer. It's really the only full trailer that came out during the actual Super Bowl. There was about 6 or 7 other 30-second spots. But literally none of the other ones led to a full trailer on that day. Only this one did, which is just crazy, compared to when we were, kids. But actually, before we get to that, we have our first caller. Caller, can you unmute yourself to signal that you are ready? And we are going to bring them in right now, and that is our loyal listener, Danielle. Welcome to the stream. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Perfect. What is up? What do you want to discuss?
I just wanted to touch on, I know I'm not the only one who feels like this, but I was like an avid Marvel fan for years, saw all the movies, opening night, all that stuff. And I really have just not been into it. It probably since, honestly, like WandaVision was the last thing I was really into. And I think that Fantastic Four is really the only chance they have to bring back people who, were like loyalists of the MCU, I guess you could say, that just like fell off. Like I'm not going to see Captain America. Like I have no interest. And I know a lot of, like, I've had discussions with a lot of people who feel the same way, like too much stuff coming out that wasn't the best quality maybe, and they were like a lot of shows, and a lot of people don't want to have to watch like a full season of a show in order to know what's going on in a movie. So I think that like Fantastic Four is the first real opportunity in a long time to have a new like movie that doesn't necessarily relate to anything else and get people back in and new people to see.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. And obviously my perspective, obviously, as you know, TJ can speak on his own perspective, but I imagine it's not crazy dissimilar. My perspective is, I love a lot of what the MCU puts out, and I watch literally everything. Right before we went live, I was messaging TJ. I was watching Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But I've been thinking about this a lot lately, particularly with Captain America coming out, is, man, what if the Red Hulk Captain America movie was Sam's second movie? What if Falcon and Winter Soldier was just Cap 4? You know what I mean? How much of a difference that would have made in people's minds about everything.
I mean, the people who haven't seen, like, that, say there's people who don't have Disney Plus, like, do they know what's even really happened since the last time? Was that like the last Avengers movie when they like handed it off kind of to?
Yeah, that was 6 years ago.
There was a lot that has happened in the world, that like the MCU world, that people who don't watch the show like are probably not going to know if they just go see the movie.
Yeah.
Like I know if I were to go, I think I started that show with TJ, but I just couldn't get into it. Like, I don't know, it just felt like it was dragging for me personally. I'd rather do the, like, just watch the movies.
Yeah.
And it's just time consuming too.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you go through, I mean, this is the famous, or the loved, and TJ, feel free to cut me off and jump in whenever you want to do. I think this is like the beloved refrain of the MCU is like, you finish a show and all the YouTubers go, oh, that should have been a movie. And then you finish the movie and they're like, that could have just been a show. And it's like, I think most of that stuff is just like, if they weren't doing movies and shows at the same time, that wouldn't just be the fallback criticism for like half the projects that have come out, because they all deserve real criticism for things that have not been as good as the earlier movies. But I think I really just have been thinking lately, I'm just like, I really think it's just a lot of the movies. I just think it was just decision making and thinking that you had more time, thinking like, oh yeah, right after Endgame, we're going to do a show where Sam really takes up the mantle and then we'll do his movie. Yeah. But with the strikes, with the CEO change, with the pandemic, with everything that has gone on, it's like that, like, oh yeah, that's our plan. Well, now it's taken 7 years to just get to this point. Right. To the point where now we're another 10 years through. And I think the big rumor of the X-Men hitting the ground running right after Secret Wars is them already being like, okay, we're not doing what we did last time, where we had Endgame, then Far From Home, which was like a nice little epilogue. And then there was just kind of like a 10-month break where nothing happened. And then we just started up with the shows with WandaVision. And I feel like they just never really looked back. Yeah. And I just think people complain about the pacing in the movies, and I feel like it's the pacing of the actual projects that have really hamstrung everything. And like Danielle said, there are some people who just go, I am not going to watch this story on TV. I'm not going to watch the story on TV. And I think if you had Joaquin Torres become Falcon in a Captain America movie 3 years ago, people would be excited to see him in the trailers here. But now it's like, who was that? Oh, he was the 5th most important guy in a Disney Plus show that aired 4 years ago, and he's the new Falcon. Did that even happen in the last show, or did that happen like in between things? Like, even I can't keep a track.
It's not even like I'm anti-show either. Like I did,
Yeah.
like I just wish that they weren't so much like as big of roles into the movies as they are.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Hawkeye and She-Hulk didn't impact the films that much, but like what is the Sebastian Stan Anthony Mackie show?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon
That
Winter
and then like WandaVision did like impact Doctor Strange, and then but I just wish like they didn't. I wish
they weren't as consequential. I think that's the big issue is how, and I think some of the best successes are the ones that aren't. Loki is a beautiful 12 episode contained story that if you only watch the movies, Loki is dead. And if the Loki from the show shows up in Secret Wars, you just go, oh, he's from the multiverse. He's just a different Loki. And then somebody will go, yeah, that's actually the one that they bumped into in Endgame. You know what I mean? Like that's all you have to say for that.
Wait,
as opposed to like even something like a Ms. Marvel, right? They do a good job in the beginning of the Marvels being like, they give her kind of the reintroduction in that movie if you didn't see the show. But even that is like, that show kind of feels like required viewing to really fully appreciate that movie. And I just feel like a lot of the shows, I think that they are refining the groove to go, okay, shows are going to be for stories that build up a character moment, or like, it would be different if like, and it's also just the time commitment of the actors. I think there's a certain, no offense, but I think there's a certain echelon of these actors that you shouldn't tie up for 1.5 years in a show. You should tie them up for 8 months in a movie. Like Anthony Mackie should not have been like, all right, and you're going to TV. You know what I mean? Like that should not have been that. But bringing in somebody like a Haley Steinfeld and going, hey, this is going to be kind of your soft launch. Then you're going to come into the movies, and then, people will love you for the movies, whether they saw the show or not. To have a character like Sam, who had been in a decade of these movies, and then be like, and if you want to even understand his next adventure, you have to go and watch 8 hours of a TV show. Like that to me just feels like so crazy. A show that was not good, Secret Invasion. That's another one that feels like inconsequential. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to know that show to know stuff. But yeah, hopefully they even that stuff out.
One real quick last thing one quick thing I'll say, and we talked about it like a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
I just feel like something that kind of added to it. Well, I guess 2 things was one, Endgame just felt like such a kind of nice bow. I feel like on everything, we were building to this for however many years it was, and then we got there, and obviously Endgame, made like $2 billion or whatever it was, and it kind of felt like, okay, if we ended right here, I think everybody would be obviously, we've got some, loose ends that we've set up in movies previously that we could then build off of in future phases. But if we ended here, we're like, you know what, we're done making these. I think everybody would be like, you know what, that was a really good run. You know, bravo. And I feel like we got this thing where starting in 2021, again, I'm just looking at the calendar from 2021, beginning of 2021 to about the end of 2022, about 14 mainline things came out of the MCU, and it's basically 7 per year. That's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And just like the saturation of all that and asking people to watch, movie, then 2 weeks later show, then 2 weeks later movie, and then show, just all this stuff. It's a
one
lot
of
to keep
those
track
years.
of. And if it's not good, it's you're gonna fall off. You're gonna fall off. It's like, why would I come back?
The year that was, I guess it was 21. Yeah, it had to have been 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
The year that was 2021, I'm just gonna pop this off memory as best as I can. I think it went Falcon and Winter Soldier, Black Widow. Oh, sorry. It went WandaVision.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
Loki in the summer. And then wasn't it Shang-Chi and then No Way Home? Like back to back to back to back. Is that what it was?
Eternals.
Oh, Eternals.
Hawkeye.
That's what it was. And then Hawkeye.
No Way Home.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And No Way Home was still
Yeah.
there. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah. That year was the year that almost broke me, where I was like, this is literally a Marvel thing almost every week of the year. And mind you, that was still when like Mandalorian was airing like new episodes all the time. And other things too. I just think that it's like you said, and then if you hit a stumbling block of a bad week, which for a lot of people was Falcon and Winter Soldier, like episode 2 or 3, where they were like, maybe the show isn't like as great as it should be.
Yeah.
I think you hit that, it's hard to just grab them back in. It's hard to grab them back in and be like, no, but check out the next thing, because then it becomes, well, the whole point of the MCU was that it was this thing that we could constantly check in on, and we knew that it would be a great new installment. And now it's like, I don't even know which installments are going to be good, which installments are going to be bad, so I'm just not going to watch them at all. And I will say, I do agree with you, Danielle. I think that Falcon and Fantastic Four is going to be the last one, I think, this year to grab people. I think on the TV side, you could get Daredevil, but TV is just a smaller audience to begin with, so you're not even really grabbing that many people with even if you launch the best show of all time. I mean, look at Andor. I really
feel like this is their like chance to start fresh, and like because there's nothing out that really is tied to it yet. Who knows what they're gonna do in the future? Hopefully they just keep it to the movies personally, but I feel like they haven't had anything like this. I guess Shang-Chi was like a standalone. That was the last like standalone that I don't think really connected to much. And then, Eternals was, they tried with that one, but I feel like this is the real, like, this has potential to be the next big, like, start, I guess.
Yeah, and I think if you look at, so we'll just address the elephant in the room. Right after this call with Danielle, we're going to jump into the Thunderbolts trailer. And I think that Thunderbolts has a chance to be a really good movie. But I don't think it has the chance to get everybody, back on board, as it were, with the MCU. Whereas if you look past this year, not only is Fantastic Four a great re-entry point for a lot of people, but that re-entry point is actually the springboard for everything that's coming next. Is this movie will directly lead into Avengers Doomsday, which then, in between the two Avengers movies, you're going to have Doctor Strange, which, regardless of whether or not people love that second movie, Doctor Strange is one of the highest box office characters and one of the most beloved characters of the MCU. That movie will do well. Then you're going to have Spider-Man 4, which, of course, speaks for itself, is going to do well. Both of those movies then tie into Secret Wars, and then truly after Secret Wars, you're going to just get a complete fresh start, where I think you're on the TV side, I think you're going to see way more animation stuff that's kind of, not to use the word optional, but I think you are going to see a bigger push into kind of, you can watch it, but you don't have to. And then I think it's just going to be a lot of new stuff that will get people newly excited. And I do think that the 1-2 punch of the two Avengers movies will also get a lot of people who have not checked in since Endgame back on board, just by the nature of the fact that they're Avengers movies. And I think that I think it's smart to go, well, okay, what's the movie that I have to know? What are the movies that I have to know to see this Avengers movie? And to go, it's actually just kind of one. It's just Fantastic Four. I think that's a really easy sell for a lot of people. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else?
Nope.
Real. All right. Well, thank you for calling in. I did not think that's where the call was going to go, but thank you for calling in. I think it's a good topic to discuss. And might be interesting in 6 months when all 3 of these movies are out and we've seen all 3 of them, to kind of, rediscuss this topic and see where we stand in like 6 months' time.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right. That was awesome. Right. Speaking of the future of the MCU, let's just go ahead and jump right into this guy, which is
I actually haven't seen this.
So you haven't seen this trailer? Okay. Well, all right. Do minimal amount of talking so that we don't get demonetized, but I will shut the hell up and just let you watch it.
Okay.
You know what? If you haven't seen it, I'm just going to do a full. All right. 1 second. Sorry. Welcome back, everybody, to the Planet Film Network. This is a clip out from our live show that we do every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We were discussing a bunch of the trailers that have come out, and we are talking about the new Thunderbolts trailer. And TJ, I have seen this. TJ has not seen it at all. So we are going to go ahead and jump into the brand new trailer for Marvel Studios' The Thunderbolts right now. All right. All right.
Let's talk facts. The Avengers are not coming. Who will keep the American people safe?
There's some big threat out there, and you are gonna help me stop it.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why, you got someplace to be?
I love that guy.
So none of us comply? So what, we all just punch and shoot?
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Stop! Speed! John, stop! Where are you?
It's been a while.
Everyone here has done bad things. You can't escape their past. Hey, it's like your mind is somewhere else.
So you can do something about it now, or live with it forever.
This could get messy.
No shit. You thought you were gonna be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
Damn.
We can't do this. No one here is a hero.
Lena, when I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's why we need each other.
Okay, that was really good.
We are the Thunderbolts! Can't call ourselves that. God, thank you.
This has makings of team that can raise to glory. Bring light from the darkness. This team can be the heroes on the Wheaties box. With a little giddy pie.
Well,
Alexi, have you slept?
still with that asterisk.
When I'm dead.
Well, I'd like not to die today, so maybe somebody else should be driving.
Well, David Harbour seems like he'll be the star of this movie right off the bat.
Boom. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was pretty good. I'll be honest. I know you. I forget what we were talking about the other day, but I've only seen Ant-Man and the Wasp once. I just don't see a world where I will like the character of Ghost. That character was so nothing in that movie. Granted, the movie wasn't great either, but it was just like one of those things where I was like, I just do not care, like, at all. So they'll have to do a lot of work for me to get me to care about Ghost. It seems very, seems like we're all kind of going on our own redemption arc. It seems like in that trailer, that's the vibe I got. I thought did I see something where, and maybe maybe you don't know, where like something was revealed in the trailer or something that if like the source material, like
I saw people saying everything from like they showed too much, they spoiled the movie.
Right, yeah. But I'm like, I don't.
If you
obviously I
don't know,
so.
first of all, like you just said, if you
Yeah.
don't know, nothing got spoiled for
Okay.
anything.
Yeah.
Even if you do know, it's like
Do you?
I don't understand. Yeah, but
okay.
I don't think it's like this. Oh, they gave it all away. Like
Yeah.
I think it's like, do you really did you really think that they were gonna go the whole movie without advertising, like that what's happening to the city? Like, is that like I don't know why people were ever thought that you were gonna get through this whole marketing team and they were never going to touch on who the villain is or what the villain is. Like, I don't understand that at
Isn't
all.
it? What's his
I don't
name?
think it ruined anything.
Is it not? What's his name?
Who?
Who Steven Union was going to play? But
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
no.
But it's like,
is that the spoiler?
Yeah, that's what people are. Yeah, I know. I don't even want to say it specifically because it's like if it's going to ruin it for somebody, I don't.
He's turning them into concrete.
He's turning them into shadows, man. He's going
Shadow Realm.
Iron Man 3 on their ass. Yeah, he said 4 what did they say? 5 victims, only 4 shadows. What's going on? Maybe
that can't be. Is that really? Are you sure that's what people were talking about?
That is what people were talking about.
That's not a spoiler. That was just like known.
That's just like what the character is.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
I literally don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, that is what people were talking about. They're like, oh, it revealed too much. Well, you have to say what the movie's about.
Like Galactus is in the trailer. Spoiler. He's
exactly. Like what? Yeah, I think we knew that. But yeah, I will say I love this trailer. I've watched this trailer probably like 10 times. I think this trailer is better than any of the July trailers. I think it's better than the Superman trailer. I think it's better than the Fantastic Four trailer. Kind of by a lot. I think it has that OG Guardians tone to it that obviously they were going for. So it's not like, oh, Marvel struck gold. They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Which I've also seen. That's like, I just hate the way that people talk about some of the decisions as if they like know them. I just think that they're like, hey, we're going to go for another fun team dynamic. But I think it's similar to the Guardians in that fashion, but I think it's totally new in the sense of these are all characters that we know already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, the whole point, I love what you said about Ghost, because I really think the whole point of this is to provide a solid foundation and maybe some redemption for some of these characters that didn't get that the first time. And I just rewatched Ant-Man and the Wasp like 2 days ago. I still like that movie.
Metacritic?
What'd you say?
Insane. 70 Metacritic.
What? Is that
score? That's
Ant-Man and the Wasp?
That's good. Yeah.
Are you saying that's too high?
Yeah, from what I remember.
Ant-Man and the Wasp? I think I think your bar for what was a bad
I thought Ant-Man's hands down, in my opinion, the best one.
I'm not gonna say that Ant-Man's not the best Ant-Man movie, but I think that revisit some of these things and like you will see where the new bar for a bad MCU movie is.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Compared to Quantumania, it's probably like The Godfather or something.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, it's also just that movie's just like fun. You know what I mean? Like that's just a fun movie. It's just a fun 2 hours. But when it's the movie that comes out right after Infinity War, you're like, oh, it was just a joke. It was just jokes. You know what I mean? And I totally get that because that's how I felt the first time. But every time I watch that movie, which has only been like 3 times, I just like it more and more just because I love all the it's just the Ant-Man corner of the universe, you know, hanging out for 2 hours, you know, trying to get Janet back. And that I just like it for how simple that is. But yeah, somebody like Ghost, somebody like Red Guardian, and then in particular, obviously we know Bucky and Yelena are like Yelena. I know we didn't even mention her with Danielle with how we were talking about the past 2 phases, but Yelena is one of those characters that has full-fledged Infinity Saga style. Yelena is a character that works, that audiences like. Like Florence Pugh has fully crossed over to, she is going to be the lead of this movie that people will know and will love and everything like that. Obviously Bucky as well. So I'm interested in those 3 with Yelena, Bucky, and Red Guardian. But really the one for me is John Walker. I love Wyatt Russell as an actor, and I love John Walker's character from Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think that was kind of some of the best executed stuff, no pun intended, best executed stuff. I didn't even mean to make that joke, but the best executed stuff in that show was the John Walker stuff, and particularly his execution that happened in I think that was like the second to last episode, maybe. So I'm excited to see him kind of make up for his bad run as Captain America. And I think that these trailers have been doing a great job of kind of reminding audiences who these people even are. With the exception, I will say, of Ghost. I texted you this the other night, that I'm like, I just feel like they're not giving Ghost enough stuff to do in this trailer to really make people like it. But I'm hoping that means it's because they know that in the actual movie, Ghost has a really good arc that people will like. You know what I mean? It's like, we're not going to sell this movie on Ghost, so we're not going to bother selling this movie on Ghost. You know what I mean? It's like Ghost isn't going to move the needle for anyone, so we're not going to, go heavy on her. Also, there's still tons of time and TV spots and stuff for more Ghost stuff to happen. But man, the vibe of this trailer, the song choice, the look of this trailer, I think looks fantastic. I think the actual look of it, just I don't know, there's this classic, like, the mark of a great movie is when people sweat and pick things up. You know what I mean? Have you ever heard that before? Where
No.
it's like in The Mandalorian, it's like with the volume and stuff, they just feel like they're standing in like a motionless void. But it's like, if it's a movie like the new Jurassic movie, right? That is a movie where people are sweating and picking things up. Where like, if there's a table in front of a character, there's a bunch of crap on it that an actor can go and pick up, and the camera's up there and you see the sweat and the grime on their face and stuff. But like something like an Eternals is like, that feels like a very sanitized, like sound stagey kind of movie. Thunderbolts looks like a movie where people are sweating and bleeding, and like they feel like it's shot like on actual location and stuff like that. And there are some MCU stuff that do not feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, I think comparison, first Doctor Strange movie, that's a movie where people pick stuff up. Second Doctor Strange, no, they're not. People are not picking stuff up in that movie. They're just talking.
Disagree.
You liked that movie? Is that
I gotta rewatch? I gotta
like that
rewatch
movie?
it. I gotta.
This guy's dogging on Ant-Man and the Wasp and saying that he said disagree on Multiverse of Madness. But like I said, with Doctor Strange 3 is going to be successful no matter what, because there's people like you who liked Multiverse of Madness, and even if you maybe didn't like Multiverse of Madness that much, Doctor Strange is like, at this point, like one of the top 3 most popular characters of the MCU. So it's like, I think Doctor Strange 3 is going to be a great pick and a great kind of sounding board and landing spot for the MCU between those 2 Avengers movies. But yeah, I think before we get to any of that, really excited with what we've seen from Thunderbolts, and really excited to see the movie at this point. I just think it looks good. I think Julia Louis-Dreyfus looks good. I'm not one of these people who doesn't like Val. I really like that character. And I think that every time she shows up, there's a deeper dimension to her. You know what I mean? And I think in this trailer alone, I think has been my favorite appearance of her so far. And I love that the trailer itself just comes right out at the start, and she goes, "Let's face facts, the Avengers aren't coming." So it's like, this is who we have.
Shocker.
Yeah. And the Shocker's not on the team, but maybe in an earlier draft. I'm the Shocker. I shock people. I love Michael Keaton. Fantastic. Yeah, I know legally they probably can't, but this movie would be to the nth degree if they had like a Spider-Man villain on it. Like if like Scorpion was in this movie or something, like that would be so cool. But I know legally they probably can't. It's probably some rights thing with Sony. But yeah, really like this Thunderbolts trailer. Really excited for the movie. And I'll just say I was surprised at how much I loved this trailer.
Yeah, I really liked it. I'd say I'm caught. I don't want to say cautiously optimistic. I don't really know what to think about it, honestly. I'm excited, but I could see myself just kind of being like, meh, We don't have to talk about this trailer. Actually, We don't have to watch the trailer. Is what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
But and I know you said we weren't going to talk about it, but I just wanted to get more of your thought on it.
On Jurassic?
Yeah. And again, you know me, I've been the Jurassic guy where I've said, listen, everybody at this point, people in this universe should know. Bad idea. Don't go mess with the dinosaurs. And yet they keep continuing to do it for some stupid reason. So this one, they're going to an island, right, where like the most dangerous dinosaurs were kept here. They weren't allowed in the park originally. Or
you previously didn't know about Site B, but did you not know about Site C?
C?
Yeah.
So, you know, and now we're obviously trying to get it because I think it's curing a disease or something. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, they said that it's like these specific crossbreed is like has a gene that helps with heart disease or something, which already is like, what the fuck?
Here's what I'll tell you. We need a longer hiatus than 3 years, I think. Last one came out in 2022. I think we need something longer than that. And we need something new, something fresh. It can't be the same tired old, oh, we're going because the dinosaurs have this, or we're going to try and open the new Jurassic Park because we think we can control the dinosaurs this time. Guys, you can't control them. We've been down this path for 6 movies. It's not going to happen. So let's try something new. Maybe we talk to Steven Spielberg and say, hey, what do you think? Some new direction, maybe. I'm sure they've probably talked to him. Maybe he has great ideas. They don't take his advice. I don't know. I just need your thoughts on it. It's got a pretty good cast, I think. But I just don't, it's probably not going to be good, unfortunately.
Okay, so like
indication.
Overall, I thought the trailer was fine.
Yeah.
I did not like the trailer. I didn't like the music in the trailer. I thought it was like a worse like arrangement of the Jurassic theme. Like, and I get it because it's like you said, you have 6 I don't even know. It's just I'm like, I was just gonna say you're on your 7th movie here.
Yeah.
I mean, tons of franchises have 7 movies, but also tons of franchises, to your point, change what the movies are about. You know what I mean? Like watching the trailer for Age of Ultron is not going to have the same tone as the Doomsday trailer. You know what I mean? Or even, you know, Fast and Furious 2 is not the same movie as Fast and Furious 9. You know, very, very different. Whereas this movie, it's the same thing. Or it's the like you know, it's like they have like 2 versions of it, and in this one they just like they did like the lesser version of it, and it just thought like the musical presence was a little weak in the trailer, and then the characters themselves, I mean, it's just like, don't tell me that you know, it's the MCU joke, which they've actually only made 2 times with the he's right behind me, isn't he? You know, people joke about that with the MCU. That like this trailer had what the internet thinks the MCU humor is. Like it was literally Jonathan Bailey like, oh, don't tell me we're going on that thing. Oh, we're going on that thing. You know what I mean? It was like there was like 5 instances of that. It was like, oh, you know, for picking its teeth and you know, sharpening its claws and stuff, and then they cut to Scarlett Johansson. None of that sounds good. Whoa! Like this is Black Widow. To your point, I think the cast is good. This is Natasha Romanoff, and I'm like, your trailer's so bad, I'm not buying her as a badass. You know what I mean? Let alone the fact that Natasha Romanoff, let alone the fact that Scarlett Johansson is like one of the most decorated, incredible actresses working today and can literally pull off
2-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's doing the like, got my cigar and I'm got another one tucked behind the ear and I'm about to win this card game, but I'll be with you just 1 second. You know, like, well, I could get you in. I didn't say anything about getting you out. You know, like that's like what this whole, it just felt like caricatures of like what like a baby would think that like a Jurassic movie was. I don't even know. I thought the dinosaurs looked good. I saw some people saying that they didn't think that the CG on the dinosaurs looked good. I thought they looked fine. I thought the dinosaurs, it's not like there was any sort of. Somebody said it was like borderline PS2 graphics, and I was like, "What are you talking?"
That's
I was like, "Yeah, what?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like it. I don't know. People are just crazy all over the place. But yeah, to put a pin on it, I did not care for the trailer, and I'm a little worried about the movie, but I'm not one of these people either that's like, oh, I'm gonna love it no matter what because I love Jurassic. It's like the movies they haven't done anything, like you said, like inventive or even just different in such a long time. And then like even Gareth Edwards does not give me confidence because he was basically brought on just as a shooter on this movie. I mean, the whole pre-production was done before he was hired. You know what I mean? He was announced as director February of last year. So I don't know how that's possible. To really, create a great product when your director is hired at the last minute. And obviously directors are swapped out at the last minute all the time and it turns out well, but it's just not a huge indicator of, I think, confidence in me, at least, for the movie. But yeah, I mean, what did you think?
Yeah, I just think it looks poor, unfortunately.
It looks watered down.
Yeah. And I think it'll look good just because it's Gareth Edwards. I feel like he doesn't steer anybody wrong with how his movies look. It's more just kind of the emotional element, I feel like, and the story usually is lacking there.
And there's like another random family being dragged along for the adventure. Like, why is there 3 kids there on this like death-defying island journey?
I saw somebody, maybe it was like on the hot mic. They were like, they love bringing the kids in into these things.
There's freaking kids in every movie.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do after this. Assuming that it's again after I think Jurassic World, it kind of just each box office kind of plummeted, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong.
Plummeted in the sense of, but the floor was still $1 billion.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
But it was 1.9, 1.5, and then 1.1. So it was
crazy.
But still, to your point,
crazy.
Dominion made half what World did. So I mean, it was a big drop off. It was just still made a lot of money, but a huge drop off from the first movie.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see how it does and what that kind of. I don't know. I was gonna say I don't think it'll make $1 billion.
You think this should have been a show?
I feel like no, I don't think they should have done either. They shouldn't have done this at all.
Yeah. The best Jurassic World thing was that short that they made, the drive-in one, where the T-Rex attacked the drive-in. That was the best one that they made, and that was like 8 minutes.
Maybe
long.
we get like can we do like some sort of Land Before Time collab type thing? I know that's but like, can we just get like I'm just thinking of ideas like, what else has dinosaurs? Like,
I have a real question right now.
An animated show with what?
Who even directed Jurassic World Dominion? Was it Trevorrow?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was.
Trevorrow,
wow.
Yeah.
Or Trevorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, sorry. It made $1,400,000,000.
That is crazy.
So really, it just like squeaked over $1 billion.
It's crazy considering barely. After the original, it's just been downhill.
Yeah. 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 The more I think back on it, the more, to go to your point about making something different, I think they really had something different in Jurassic World with the whole leaning into like the consumerism angle, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like they're being viciously attacked and Jimmy Fallon's on the iPad being like, hope everybody's strapped in. Looks like it's getting bumpy. You know what I mean? Like she even says it in the trailer, the Indominus Rex brought to you by Verizon Fios. Like that was a good angle on that movie. it's a shame that the movie didn't do anything with that angle.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything interesting at all. And then the next two movies had no angle at all, other than we're gonna do something interesting and then go completely back on it. But here's the original cast. You know, it's Jurassic World. You know, that was the big that was all Fallen Kingdom had. Yeah, incredible. But will I see it? Of course I will.
Same.
Yeah, and that's why they make $1 billion. And I'll tell you right now, every podcast segment I've ever watched about Jurassic ends the same way. They go, "Am I going to see it? Yes, I am." And that's why it made $1 billion, because there's something about these Jurassic movies, and there's something about just dinosaurs, that everybody wants to go see it. You know, unless it's Adam Driver's 65.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that maybe not so much. But there's something about the Jurassic Park brand that it's just like, I feel like everybody is just like, I'm gonna give it one more shot.
Yeah,
maybe this will be the one, and it never is. But yeah,
God.
Speaking of maybe this will be the one, we're gonna end things off here. We're gonna go through and take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes for Captain America: Brave New World that came out. The social media embargo dropped at midnight last night, and then the actual full review embargo, I believe, dropped at noon today. So we officially have the Rotten Tomatoes for Captain America: Brave New World, and it is 51% with 117. Well, the audience score is now the popcorn meter. Look at that. 51% with 117 reviews. Now I will say a lot of these social media reactions were a lot more, I would say, mixed to positive. What was your overall take on this, on the social media kind of reactions?
I thought at first it seemed like it was pretty positive, but then I saw some more kind of social media reactions, and then it kind of seemed to go into the more mixed section. Yeah, I think I think this could have been easily predicted that this was going to either be a mixed or just bad. I don't think anybody really thought that this was going to be a knock out of the park, everybody loves it movie, especially with like the reshoots and all that stuff that came out about it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of going and hoping for the best, and like I said before, I think after this, Fantastic Four, maybe, well, is Thunderbolts before Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thunderbolts is May.
Even Thunderbolts, I just feel like Fantastic Four is kind of that new, okay, this is a new clean slate. We're starting from here. You know, don't ignore everything before, but everything before that was a mulligan. Post Endgame, but there was that, you know, section of a year or two where it was very not great.
I also just think that, like, more and more, I just don't agree with some of the appraisals of these movies. Like, first of all, half of these things that I'm reading here, Scott Mendelson, what a picture there. That's incredible. Like, half of the reviews that I'm reading here just sound like all these people do is review MCU movies. Like,
wait, what did he say? Go up
on Scott's.
Yeah, he said Brave New World is very bad. Imagine that Roger Moore's first 007 flick was A View to a Kill. If it's anything like A View to a Kill, I'm not confident.
Well, there you go. That's
probably my least favorite.
That's you
James
and
Bond
Scott.
movie.
Yeah, that's you and Scott on the right there. He's giving you the eyes. You guys are connecting. I do not get the View to a Kill reference, but or at least in terms of recognizing what the quality means. But honestly, something like this, like, the grand message here is eye-rolling, especially given what the real America is going through. What's most frustrating in this utterly pointless MCU entry is that for a Brave New World, this is the same mediocrity. Shield yourselves. Like, okay, like, that's just like, I feel like you're just writing that to write like a funny, like, snappy, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just I don't know. And then it's like a 2 out of 5, and that gets marked against this score. And it's like, first of all, I just wholeheartedly disagree that any movie can be pointless, or like when people say we don't need this movie, it's like, well, you don't need any movie. The point is just they made it and you go for it. Also, given what America is going through, this movie has been being made for 2 years. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you can't. I don't understand bringing that into the review. You know what I mean? That does not make sense to me to bring something like that in the review. But then you have something I think a lot more even-handed like this from Rachel Wagner. Sorry. The story is all lead up, no payoff. It's not horrible, but it feels bland and forgettable. That to me, that's like a real criticism. That's something that I can latch onto, and I'm like, I know what you mean by that. And that does disappoint me, and it does, make me feel bad for the people involved and everything. But then for a lot of those, for literally every one of those, because what are we at? We're at exactly 51%. So it's exactly split. For every one of those, there's a Anthony Mackie and co-star Danny Ramirez are as delightful together as they are dynamic, and their partnership forms the heart of this story. Very good. A middle-range actioner that's just serviceable enough to earn the entertainment points, even if it ultimately adds up to very little of consequence. Let's see here. No blockbuster that costs this much should look this shoddy. That to me, again, it's like you're marked as a top critic. I don't know. I don't normally look at Rotten Tomatoes, so I'm just kind of getting triggered by
I will
a lot
say
of this
just
stuff,
real quick, just thinking about the trailer, I think that last shot where it's Sam facing off against Red Hulk, I did think in my head, like, that looks real, like where they're standing, like it looks bad. Granted, it was a trailer, so maybe final product probably looks a little bit better, but it's one of those things where I'm like, this just doesn't look good.
I'd be interested to know. I don't know. I think a lot of the stuff in the trailer looked really good. I mean, I think in particular, I think the CG on Red Hulk, but it sounds like you're talking more like the environment around them.
Yeah,
correct. Is that what,
yes.
So that it'd be harder for me to place like in my memory what that looks like. But I mean, I just think a lot of the CG in the movie looks fantastic. The one that I could understand being worried about is all the aerial sequences, like everything involved with like the ocean, like when it's him going like fighting with the fighter jets and stuff like that. That I could see becoming a lot in the CG department. But again, here it's like it's almost obscene that so much money was spent on Captain America, Brave New World, yada yada yada. What does the budget have to do with the end product of the movie that you watch? You know what I mean? I don't understand that at all. I don't understand why, like, half of these negative reviews. I feel like half of these negative reviews are all like the Twitter narrative of like, well, this movie cost $400 million and they had to reshoot it a whole bunch. Okay, you're supposed to leave that at the door when you go in to see a movie. In my opinion, that's strongly in my opinion, but that kind of stuff just ticks me off when they're like this, like your first line is it's almost obscene. It's almost obscene that so much money was spent on Captain America, Brave New World. Characters are bland and underwhelming story. The second half of that, I think I can respect because you're grabbing onto real elements of the movie that you watched. But to start off a negative review would be like, oh, they spent so much money on this movie and I did not like it. 1 star. It's like, who cares how much money they spent on it? What did you think about Sam's journey? What did you think about, stuff like that? And I hate how many of those that I'm seeing in here, but sadly plays off more like a direct-to-video action film than a cinematic event worth the price of admission. See, that's like a scathing comment, but like I respect that because that's how this guy thought about this movie. And to me, honestly, based on the trailers and stuff, I could see that. I'm really hoping to love this movie.
I'm waiting to
really enjoy
it. I'm waiting for you to come home for the movie and be like, yeah, it wasn't. It was not good.
See, like, unless we have like a Rise of Skywalker situation, and I'll fully admit, I think these people are bringing bias into these reviews, but like, as of right now, I'm going into it really hoping that I love it. But guess what? As soon as the credits start, and I know it's easy to say that and be like, oh, as soon as the credits start, I just forget everything at the door. And it's like I know I don't. I love Sam Wilson as a character. I love Harrison Ford as an actor. So it's like I'm going to take that in with me, but I'm going to try to do my best to not just love the movie before I even see it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of heartbreaking how many of these reviews are slamming the movie for things that aren't even the movie itself. And that generates a Rotten Tomatoes score that then generates and dominates the entire conversation about this movie. You know what I mean? I just hate so much that that's like the cycle that we're in. And then you have people, and I'm not saying that Danielle, gets, she's like swayed by this stuff, but I just mean a lot of general audiences, they look at the Rotten Tomatoes and that's their barometer.
Yeah.
And it's like when you look one step deeper, it just like saddens me to see how much of it is just kind of like people not really engaging with the movie. You know what I mean? It's just people engaging with like, oh, the MCU's dead again. Never even was back, if you ask me. But yeah, I'll read one more here, one more good one here. Anthony Mackie earns his stripes as Captain America. Marvel Studio, you know what? That's a B+. Let me try to get a little bit of let me see if I can see. Why don't you talk a little bit about how you're feeling about some of these reviews and stuff in the discussion overall? I'm going to try and find a positive review that's got a little negative twinge in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's people kind of giving their opinions. Like, I mean, obviously that's what a review is. I don't know what the movie was, but it's not really anything I didn't not expect, because this movie has been, I feel like, just been going through it the past 2 years. So the fact that it's coming out pretty mixed, I'm not shocked about. Like I said before, I thought it would be big positive if it was like pretty universally across the board that it was a good movie. I'd be pretty surprised, but this is more in line with what I feel like people were expecting. I do agree where it's like, and again, we don't write reviews, right? So you're going to write something that is going to grab we got to grab the reader's attention, right? In the first, few lines. So most likely you're probably going to put out your strongest opinion in your first few lines, just so you can get the attention of whoever's trying, going through reviews and looking for one to read. Yeah. So, I get it, but I also get like what you're saying, I guess, where it's like, make it based on what I'm trying to, you could probably say it better than I can. Like you're saying, like, make it based on what
I feel like it's kind of almost a by the way, we have Travis Mitchell watching right now. Welcome, Travis. Like engage with the story that you're presented with. You know what I mean? And in this case, I open that up to not just the story, but engage with the movie you're presented with. Don't go another miss. If your review starts with another miss for Marvel, then you're more like ranking this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, tell me what you thought of the script. Tell me what you thought of that. You know what I mean? And then I did find these two right at the bottom here, which is a positive review, but it says, compared to some of the studio's recent misfires, this new entry is at least passable. And then this one, Captain America Brave New World is a compendium of action. Like, that word just like stun locked me for a second. Captain America Brave New World is a compendium of action, nostalgia, and gamma radiation that doesn't rank amongst Marvel's best movies, but it's not amongst its worst either. Like that, I think that's like totally fair. Like if you feel that way, then you feel that way. You're at least telling me like what the movie gave you. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's just high horse over with. But before we end out here, right before we go to see it, where are your personal hopes and expectations or anything like that at for this movie?
I guess they're probably low. I just don't really expect all that much, unfortunately, based on the reviews and obviously the production that has gone on with it. I hope it's good. I hope, or for me, I hope personally, I feel that it is a return to form for the MCU. And again, I feel like maybe they will be constantly chasing the success that they had, in those first however many years that was. 12 years, I think it was, all those movies.
See, I agree with you, but also it's like, is that not just what Hollywood is? Like, people say that like it's like this Marvel specific thing.
Right.
And I know that you're not saying that. You're just saying right now that's where their heads are at. And it is. But I'm just like, people will like tout that as like, oh, Marvel's never going to get back on top the way they were. And it's like, maybe they won't. But guess what? At least for now, when it makes financial sense for them and the movies are still making a crap ton of money, like, because, okay, 2 MCU movies did not perform well. Guess what? There have been 34 MCU movies and they've made $31 billion. So it's like they're still batting 1,000 pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I think they maybe will be, but maybe as long as they are willing to chase that dragon, I'm willing to show up to see what they give us. You know what I mean? And I feel like people are just so quick to just write it all off. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I get that the audience isn't as big as it was, but again, like we talked about way earlier tonight, I think they have a good, solid lineup to get the audience back up to where it was. If not, maybe even bigger. If, you're bringing back everybody from Endgame, all the X-Men, all the Spider-Men, maybe not all, but, a ton of that stuff is going to be in Secret Wars. I think Secret Wars is going to be a crazy movie that is going to make billions of dollars. And I think after that, you get kind of a redo button. I think Marvel, by the skin of their teeth, but I think they made it. I think they made it to the other side of Secret Wars. As long as they can execute this, they brought the Russos back in. They brought RDJ back in. They got a lot of good stuff building up. We're getting some X-Men cast news. Oh, you know what? All right, let's wrap up on. All right, we're done with Captain America. Yay, we're gonna see it and we'll review it. Real quick, I want to get your thoughts, and then we are going to head out because I got to make my dinner for tomorrow. Harris Dickinson as Scott Summers, Julia Butters as Kitty Pryde, Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, and perhaps Javier Bardem as Mr. Sinister. Those are the 4 big rumors that we have right now for the X-Men movie. What is your thought on those castings?
I think those are all great. All really strong actors. I feel like I shouldn't say on the come up. I feel like the young ones are on the come up. Sadie Sink, obviously coming off Stranger Things. I feel like most notably, unless she's done something since then that has been
The Whale.
The Whale, I guess. Yeah. Harris Dickinson. He was in. I always get him mixed up with the other guy,
George McKay.
Yeah. Harris Dickinson, he was in 1917, or was that George McKay?
That was George McKay.
Harris
Dickinson is Iron Claw and Kingsman and
Iron Claw, Kingsman. Okay,
stuff. Yeah.
So coming off Iron Claw specifically,
and Baby Girl in theaters now.
And then Javier Bardem is just he's a great villain.
Yep.
And Julia Butters, I feel like I haven't seen her in anything. I feel like since Once Upon a Time, but I could be wrong. I didn't see the Fabelmans, so. Yeah, no.
Wow. All right. Well, Ellis, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I got one question for you. It was a kind of a funny question. Maybe you won't have an answer right away, or I don't know. But I was thinking the other day, I wanted to ask you. I've been watching a lot of West Wing recently. Okay, so I'm about almost through season 3. And I got to thinking, I'm watching Martin Sheen play President Bartlett, right? And I'm thinking, what is your favorite fictional president? And I got 2, and I don't really actually have that many, so it might just be the only 2 I've seen, honestly, that I can think of.
I'll tell you right now, I'm down on a slow week this year. I'm down to tier list fictional presidents. That's 100% in, but yeah, keep going.
So my 2 are, you don't have to have 2. If you have 1, great. I was just a thought that I had. My 1 First one is Harrison Ford in Air Force One.
Of course.
As President Marshall. He's just a badass kicking Gary Oldman off his plane, amazing.
Mhm.
And then my second would just have to be President Bartlett, Martin Sheen in West Wing. I mean, he is just, how can you not root for this president? I'm watching this guy. I'm like, I would vote for him in a second. I get it. Okay. He maybe hid a disease that he had from the public, but he took it on,
So
he
did
took it on the
FDR.
chin. He took it on the chin.
Yeah.
He is, he's loyal. He's strong-willed. He's smart. I would vote for that man in a second. I'll tell you right now.
Boom. This guy said Bartlett for president. Bartlett, 28.
Yeah, Bartlett.
Let's make it happen. I feel like just off what I'm looking up here and what I'm Googling, I feel like I understand the real world complications of this, but I gotta go Frank Underwood, number one.
Okay.
For what that show is, for how insanely engrossing it is to watch that rise, spoiler alert, and fall happen. I gotta go Frank Underwood as my clear number one, and then I'm gonna probably go Bartlett and then Ford from Air Force One. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking up lists of fictional presidents, and it's a lot less than I would have thought. I feel like these lists are incomplete.
I agree.
But I mean, in terms of that, I would say probably I'll throw Harrison Ford in there as like it's fun. But in terms of true blue like options, I would go. Oh, you know who else I'll go with is never mind, not Harrison Ford, is Dave. Did you ever see Dave with Kevin Kline?
No.
Really, really great movie. He's like an actor who who impersonates the president. Like he like goes to parties and pretends to be the president. And the real president has a heart attack, and so they put him in. They basically make him pose as the president to hide that the president is sick. That movie is fantastic. That's a really, really good movie. So yeah, probably those three, some combination of those three. But I think just off my gut, just because there's so much time spent with that character, I got to go Frank Underwood, number one. That's what I got to go.
Fair enough.
Real. All right. Well, speaking of I got to go, we are going to head out. But thank you guys so much for joining us.
Oh, Danielle said Melly Grant. Sorry.
Melly Grant. Who's that?
I don't know. I just said it.
Real. Melly Grant. Is that from My Date with the President's Daughter? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for
Scandal.
Sorry. There you go. Is that the guy? Is that like what's his name?
No, it's
the actor's name, Tony Goldwyn. I've never watched that show. I think I just pulled that name out. Interesting. I know that's super popular show, obviously. Oh, maybe Kiefer Sutherland from Designated Survivor. I've never watched that show, but people love it. All right. Well, let us know your favorite fictional president. Still ended on theme, talking about Captain America, as we're getting a new fictional president. Oh, maybe I'd go with President Ritson from Secret Invasion. Right?
No.
I am authorizing and kill them all. Kill every non-Earth-born citizen in the entire globe.
Oh my God. Speaking of real quick, sorry.
President Ellis?
I thought there was a story the other day or a few weeks ago that they're making a sequel to Air Force One. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Oh. Well,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, Bartlett 2028.
Bartlett 2028. Let's go. Hank Pym for president. All right. I have been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday night. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, chatting, calling in, everything like that. We really, really appreciate it. But that will do it for me. I have been, as I said before, one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I've been your other host, TJ Cornwell. Thank you for watching. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Catch us here every Wednesday night, as Sean said, at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We will see you next time.